Hey everybody, welcome to the Life of a Board Gamer. My name is Daniel. Okay, today we are going to take a closer look at the beast of the game called Scythe by Stonemaier Games, and in here there is also They Came From Afar expansion. So let's get down to the table because this box is really heavy. Okay, as I already mentioned, this box contains also the expansion They Came From Afar. If I'm not mistaken, that's the correct name. Don't trust me on this, Google it. So this is premium edition. I'm not really sure the difference between editions. I know someone has realistic resources. Well, this has metal coins, but does not have those realistic resources from Stonemaier Games, which I would really love to have, but they're a bit too pricey for me. But one day I will definitely have them. Okay, let's see what's in a box. So this box packs really heavy. Everything fits barely. So the expansion that's coming really soon is not gonna fit in this box, and I'll have to think of something. Okay, first of all, we have dialers for all 7 players. These are used in a combat when you determine how much damage you're gonna do to an opponent, and if you're gonna win or lose that battle, you use these little things. Okay. Then what we have are wooden components for each player. There are 7 players within expansion. In a regular game there's only 5 players. The purple and the green come in expansion, and I will show you really soon how the miniatures look. So these are just wooden components, really nice quality components, and they make game look really nice. So you have green, you have purple, you have a blue faction and a red one, and yellow and white and black. That's that. Okay, then we have some coins that come in a game. These are really nice thick cardboard coins, but they are no match to metal coins. So this game comes with metal coins. You don't get all of these. Some of them you have to buy separately. For example, this purple 50 is bought separately. They not come in a box, and if I'm not mistaken, this denomination of 2 is also bought separately, if I remember correctly. And all of the denominations, the 10-1, the 1-1, they correspond with one of the factions. So that's really nice. Basically, you have your own money in a game, but you use all of this, not just once. You use whatever you have. So those were the metal coins. Then we have some cards. These are used also in collaboration with this to determine combat strength of your units in a game. And then we have some different end game scoring abilities. Not abilities, but what do we call them? They're used at the end of the game to score for each building that you have near mine, and they just bring you some random stuff each game, so they don't feel all the same. But they really are not all the same. Okay, then we have some cards that represent. These cards represent those are challenges you do in your oh my god, my brain is freezing. Let me just give a moment to remember. Secret missions. Let's call them secret missions. These are secret missions that you get 2 per game, but you can only do 1. The other then is discarded. And as you can see, artwork is really nice. This game has one of the best settings I ever saw in any game. It really nicely combines mechs with some kind of industrial revolution type. It's really hard for me to describe how artwork impacts this game and makes it even more awesome than it really is. Not that it really is. The game is awesome. I'm sorry, I'm lost for words with this game because I love it really much, and I blabber. Let's continue. It's a great game. So these are encounter cards. While you play the game, throughout the game you will encounter different people and you can do different kind of stuff. There's always there are 3 solutions you can do. One of them will give you something, for other you'll have to probably pay something to get something, and the last one is the most rewarding, but it will probably hurt you with some popularity or something like that. So as you can see, there is lots of encounters cards, and there is only 13 encounters or 12 on a game board, so lots of these won't even show in a game. So these give it really nice replay value, and that's what I really appreciate in a game, a good replay value. Okay, so there is these cards. Okay, there is when I show you map is on the bottom. There is in the center of the map there is a huge old factory, and there you can get these cards that give you some extra abilities that you play through a game. And as you can see, artwork is phenomenal. I really love artwork for this game. Check this out. Really cool looking, really cool looking. And the cards are really nice, linen finish. What can you say about them? But they are really great. And these are just some cheat sheets, so you know what can you do and what can you not do with your mechs and heroes and stuff like that. Okay, let's continue our search through the box. Okay, there is some more cards over here. These are mainly used for if you play a single player game. So these make dummy player play with cards. I cannot really explain you, but I didn't have time to play it, but they say it's really awesome. Okay, I'll save the miniatures last. Then what Stonemaier gave you, which I really love, is you get these little boxes where you can store your resources. So these are wooden resource tokens. These represent wood, and we also have food. Just a minute. We also have food, and what you also have is oil and metal. These are all wooden, really cool looking tokens. And then we have a player boards. So these boards are shuffled and randomly dealt to each player. So these are shuffled and randomly dealt. So you have your race board, which I will show you in a moment, and then you get this one. And they are all similar, but they have different values. For example, if you pay 3 oil, you can upgrade one of your upgrades. You can move it from up to down there, and you get 3 gold for it. When this one, he has to pay 3, but can from time to time, when the game allows it, put some upgrades here and reduce it to just pay 1, but he does not get any money for upgrades. So these are subtle differences that make each player board the same but different, and that's really cool. I don't know, mechanism, so to say, in a game. Okay, then we have these that go with player boards. These are your faction boards. As you can see, there is Togawa Shogunate, Nordic Kingdom, clans, like 7 different races. Okay, let's take a closer look at the miniatures. Okay, so these are the miniatures that come in a base game. Okay, first of all, each of the faction gets a hero, and these are really nice and really cool looking. Not so much details on them, but they represent the heroes really good, and they're really, you can really easily spot them on a map, which is very important for this game, and that's fine, that's okay. And then we have mechs for each faction. Each faction has a mech that has completely different sculpt, so each sculpt is completely unique to its faction. Like, for example, this is some kind of ship on a legs or something like that, while the yellow one looks like a tractor or something like that. Really cheap looking mech. And for example, the white one, They are amphibian kind of things, so they look like a submarine that's really buffed up with some cool weapons and legs. It reminds me of that thing that Robocop battles in one of the movies. Can't remember which part. Okay, so these are the factions from the starting, from the base game, not the starting, the base game. And these are tokens that you get with those encounters that I told you. There is 12 or 13 of them on a map. And then we have expansion. Well, these come in expansion. You have a guy with the boar. He's some Scottish kind of something like that. And then there's this cute little girl with a monkey on a staff. And of course appropriate mechs that are all different sculpt. I mean, these four are the same, but they are different from each other mechs. And then this is squatting bug, we call it, because it looks like a stink bug that's making squats. I don't know, something like that. Okay, so those are the miniatures, and of course we have a map, and this map is really big. I think it won't fit all on my camera, and now you're asking yourself why two-part. Well, that is because this map is two-sided. The other side is with bigger hexes. These hexes are much bigger, so if you're playing a bigger, let's say 7-player game, you will use the bigger map, and this one will add on to it since it does not fit. And as you can see, let me just show you if I can do this. You see how this hex is really big and this one is a bit smaller. So there is a map, original map, you can play on it, and it's fine. But if you want to play on a bigger map and make your game look more grandiose on the table, you will use this side and this expansion to add on a map. So I think this also does not come in a box, you have to buy it separately. But it's really worth it because the game looks awesome on a table, if you have big enough table for a game. And of course there are rules, and there are these tokens also. These tokens change some rules if you play 7-player game. And of course there is rule books for all the factions. Let me just show you quickly. So this is for the single player. If you play a single player game, this is Automa and how to use it, how to use those cards that I told you about. And this is for expansion rules, for those expansions for those two factions, for purple and green faction. And there is some kind of, let me see what this is. Oh, this is quick reference guide. And one thing, and of course there is rulebook, as always, the main rulebook, which explains really nice things they do, what you do in a game and how you do it. And I still did not enter any names in this. I'm really reluctant to do it because I really love the game, but I really hate destroying parts of the game in some games. And here, which is really nice add-on, you can write the first winner in each faction. First who win with Polania, Nordic if possible. Nordic countries are really hard to win with. And like the first winner for each player count, like when you played solo game, who was the winner? When you played in 5 players, who was the first winner ever? And so at the end, there's also on the other side all kind of different achievements. And at the end, when you put everything in, you will have a really nice achievement sheet, and that's it. That's all there is in a box of Scythe with the expansion. Okay, so that was game of Scythe, and what can I tell you about the game that you don't already know? The game is picking awards left and right. Almost once, twice a year it gets award for something, the best game or the best component, I don't know, the best everything probably. I mean, the game is really great, and it has some weird stuff. When you play with more players, it gets shorter. When you play with 4 players, the game plays longer, and when you play with 7 players, the game is actually shorter because there is a 6 objective you have to accomplish during the game, and they are much easily accomplished when there is more players on the board. which actually I really, really love, because there's no so much games that you can play 7 players and that end up sooner than playing with 4 players. And that's really something I heard about it, but I did not believe it until I played with 7 players, and we all already played 2 or 3 times with 7 players, and we had a blast. We had a blast playing the game. So the game is really, really great. I mean, the award speaks for the game. I think this is something everyone should have. It's not a war game, don't get me mistaken it for a war game, but you already know that because Scythe is out for almost 2 years, maybe something like that. So if you get a chance, play the game, and if you get a chance to buy it, please do buy it. It's really, really great game. And for all of you that like what I do around here, you can check some of my other videos, and if you like what I do, you can subscribe and follow me on all other social networks. You can find me on Facebook, or you can find me on Instagram, you can find me here on YouTube, you can find me anywhere. So until next time, pozdrav.